Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. My name is Yadira. If you are new, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some makeup purchases that I've done over the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sort of deals that were happening pretty much like most of November. I feel I didn't go too crazy, but if you did pick up anything during these sales, let me know what you did get. I don't know about you, but for me, 2024 was a big beauty, makeup, skincare sort of year. So this may be my last makeup haul for some time now. And before we move on, the elephant in the room, or my side view here, is my 2024 7.5 foot design that I did, that I will show you either at the end or I'll maybe do it like a short. If I do that, I'll link that down below if you're interested. But let's get going with the makeup goodies. First up is what I got from Hourglass, and I don't have a box because my husband's one of those that if the mail comes in, it's gotta go out, like we don't hoard it or anything. If it was for me, I would be not trashing it until I was done. But anyways, this is what I got from Hourglass. This particular item was not in stock during the Sephora sale, so I wasn't able to get it then, but it was all cool because for Hourglass, they did have a 20% off discount on their entire website. So it worked out perfect because I got to save a little bit more than my particular tier during the Sephora sale event. I picked up the ambient lighting edit unlock in the lotus flower packaging. On the Hourglass website, you are able to customize the outside covering and the color story that you pick in the inside. So I did that because I thought that this particular covering was the most prettiest, feminine, just cuter. And even if I would have gotten the casing that comes with the color that I did end up picking, I would have been fine because I think that one's nice too. But because I had the option, I went with the lotus flower packaging. And looking at the back, I thought that they would just fix the actual colors and not so much like all the stickers. This does have the colors that are in here and not the colors that come with this casing, as you would expect, right? So let me just show you really quick. This is the color story number 1. I mostly was intrigued by the setting powder. So it has 2 in this particular palette, and the other 2 color stories that they had only had 1. It was kind of like a finishing powder, and so this one called my attention the most. And also because of that peach blush in the center. And color story number 2 and 3 didn't have a peach tone blush. They were more of a rosy mauve sort of colors. This bottom row is pretty much a bonus, which is kind of interesting to say considering the price tag. Most of these colors do look to be new into my collection. The only one that I feel like might be replicated is this highlighter right here. Kind of looks similar to one that comes in my Golden Edit palettes that I got from the Nordstrom anniversary sale 2024, so this year, which is actually a release that Hourglass had done earlier in the year, if not late last year. I'm not too sure. But this is that color story. This is the Golden Edit Ambient palette, and it comes with the called Celestial Strobe Light. Is a metallic strobe light powder. The one on here is Sunlit Strobe, so that's good. And also the bronzer in this particular palette, it kind of looks similar, but this bronzer from the Golden Edit palette is called the Golden Bronze, and the one from the palette that I have is called a Soft Bronze. Looking at them, this one looks golden, this one looks more cool tone, so perfect. I don't have any replicate shades within my collection. Just very quickly to show you, this is the other palette that I have from Hourglass. This is the Ghost palette. I was also interested in the Barney's collaboration with Hourglass. Now, one of the palettes was already sold out, but I think it came back in stock. I believe they have 3 as well. One of them has a powder blush that I already have, which is Mood Exposure, but the other color story, which is like the deeper one, is very pretty. But whenever I did the checkout on this one, it was sold out, so I didn't get that one. Obviously, if not, I will be showing you, but I do like Hourglass powders. They're so pretty and look very nice on the skin, especially as the day progresses. They did have freebies with like different thresholds. I think you needed to spend over $50, so I just met the threshold for one freebie, and that is the Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. And I haven't tried this mascara before, so that's pretty cool that I get to give it a go. This is in the shade Ultra Black, a little mini on the go mascara. That is what I got from Hourglass. Now let's get into the other 2 boxes. Let's go with Sephora. and this one is a box that I get to unbox. At the top I have the little freebie samples, and I picked the Laura Mercier dual powder set, and it comes with the glow and the regular translucent setting powder. It's been some time since I've actually gone through one of these, so I don't know if the formula has changed or if they have expanded their colors. And then I got the Flower Bomb Midnight fragrance, which is one that I have not tried. I've tried the regular Flower Bomb and I do like it, but this is the one that comes in the black bottle. Again, I haven't tried that, so I am excited about that one. And then I got to pick a deluxe size product that is actually so mini. It looked much bigger in the little thing. This is the Melt Moisturizer by HUDA Beauty, and I have not tried anything by them before, so excited to give this a try. And I do go through my little minis and try them, test them, and I do like them. I do buy the actual big size, and this says smooth into clean skin in the morning and at night, so pretty nice. And because it's tiny, I might just keep it in my bag as a little hand cream lotion. And then I got a beauty blender, and this says that it changes whenever you do wet it, but it's a little green one. It's their play version. And I had a semi new beauty blender and I like lost it. I have no idea what I did to it. So the whole reason why I even made a purchase during the Sephora Black Friday Cyber Week is because of this right here. And this is an eyeshadow palette. One more in my collection. It's definitely been the year of eyeshadow palettes for me. My Dream palette by Natasha Denona, and this has a color scheme that I thought was very wearable for day or night. I do have the mini, which from my experience, the minis might have a similar name to a midi size palette, but they do not have similar color stories. And this one, I want to say it was probably released last year, and I kind of feel like it's going to be phased out soon, but I don't know. I have seen this color story in store, but I was always like, no, you have eyeshadows, you don't need it. But this is what the color story looks like right here. I feel it's a good blend from, again, your nighttime and what you can use for the daytime, and it's kind of like separated evenly in the middle. One thing that I've noticed a lot this year is that I have gravitated a lot towards purples, peaches, and pink tone eyeshadows, and I thought that this has a good variety. I do like Natasha Denona's like shimmer sort of formula because I feel like it's pretty. A lot of people don't like shimmers for daytime, but I don't mind. I wear those day or night. And so with that realization of the colors that I do actually gravitate towards, I think that this would be a good travel palette as well. I did try to make my own Natasha Denona palette because you can remove the eyeshadows and configure your own midi palettes, but the palette that I ended up coming up with, I wasn't entirely happy, so I am definitely glad to see that these are colors that I will be using on a regular basis. I can already tell that this is going to be like a dirty palette. It is like that sort of rubberized material. Let's swatch it. So the one color that's drawing my attention so much, ooh, and these are silky. This one is called Vision. Let's do Invention. So nice. That one's gonna be a little bit more chunky. And then let's do Edgy. All right, so these are the three that I pulled out from the palette. Vision, Invention, and Edgy. Edgy, I feel like I could have done a better swatch, but all that tells me is that even though the colors are rich in the pan, they're going to be buildable and you can use them from day to night, just like I was saying. Very happy about this one. Oh, and I brought my Mini Dream palettes just to show you that this is more cool tone and color story compared to the actual My Dream palette. None of these colors are here, which is kind of cool. Especially for me that I do have both. It kind of just shows me that she could have done a 20 pan palette, but she didn't. And honestly, if this would have been a 20 pan palette, this would have been such a good palette because it would have had more darks, mediums, lights, and also warms and neutrals combined together. So, and now I have my Huda Beauty box here to share with you. Spoiler, on this particular box, there is another eyeshadow palette. And I promise that is it for eyeshadows for a good year now. I got the Easy Bake in Cherry Blossom. This is their pink setting powder, and she was having I don't know what it was called, but it was like her cyber deal where some of her products were up to 80% off. Most of the ones that I got were about the 40% off range, which is a bigger discount that I could have gotten at Sephora ever. So I did get the cherry powder. I have tried the pound cake before and I did not like it, and this was years ago, but I've heard a lot of good things about this pink one, so I'm giving it a it a try. And then this I had in my little love section from Sephora for so long. This is the pink pomelo. It was actually a bundle that came with the Easy Bake as well as the concealer. So it was like those three products for $59, I believe. This one is the pink tone, so that is the color right there of the pink pomelo. And then I got the concealer in the shade 2.5 Nugget. Like I wasn't sure which one to pick. I've never tried her concealer before, but I've heard a lot of people do like it, so I went with the color Nuggets, and I feel like it might be too bright. I wanted 2.7 or something like that. That one was out of stock, so had to go with the next best thing. And so this is the color right there. I actually combined the corrector with the concealer, and hopefully that works. So this is the corrector, this is the combine, and this is the concealer. So yeah, hopefully the combination does work, because I don't think that I can exchange the colors, and knowing that it was like her cyber craze, that's what it was called. And the box actually doesn't come with a return slip, so I'm gonna assume that is accurate assessment. But as we get further into winter, hopefully I can use the colored nuggets. Oh, actually she included the little sample here that does have the corrector and the concealer, so that it is perfect that I get to try and see if I can find my correct color. So 2.7 was called Coconut Flakes. Yes, and that one says it is a light luminous matte concealer. So these are all her colors for the corrector. Those are the ones that come with the sampler packets. The whole reason why I even made the order was for this. During the Sephora savings event, I got the Icy Nude palette from Huda Beauty, and I ended up returning that palette because I thought that it was too light. Now, in my ownership, I did not swatch it at all, but even whenever I was in store and doing the little swatches of the Icy Nude and then comparing it with this palette, because they were just side by side, I do think it has a very pretty colors, and I think it had some nice glitters that Patrick Ta came out with, the little duos, and that's a lot of people went crazy about. I thought that that palette has some colors that could maybe dupe some of the duos, and it was the last one that was in stock, but in my mind I kind of felt like it was too light. And then whenever I came home and I looked at everything that I already have, I didn't think it was too different in my collection, so I did return it. And the lady was like, oh, why are you returning it? And I just, like, plain and simple, I just said, oh, it's because I have the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. And then she's like, oh, they're too similar, right? And I was like, yeah, even though I don't think they're like similar, they are similar. So she's like, oh, I got you. I've heard that from some of my customers too, but I don't think she've heard it because they were returning. I think it was just general feedback. So I saw that she had this one for 40% off, I believe it was. So her logo did change. I thought that maybe this one was on clearance per se because of that, but it was such a good price that I was like, you know what, I returned the Icy Nude and now this one's on sale. And this one was one that I really did think was pretty whenever I was swatching it against the Icy Nude. To my defense, I did buy this one before I bought this one, so I didn't intend to have two brand new eyeshadow palettes again. This one is very pretty, and I do like Huda Beauty's glitters, and I felt like the color story was just a deeper version of the Icy Nude. So here are the colors, and it does have some colors that might be similar to the Natasha Denona My Dream palettes. Even though from afar they kind of look like they would be similar, this one is definitely much cooler than this one. This one's a more warm tone color story. Now they do both have a black and a brown. The brown on this one seems to be warmer and deeper, whereas this one seems to be more muted, and the black seems to be richer in the Natasha Denona than in the Huda Beauty. Now I don't really use black eyeshadow, but it's nice to have options, right? I am very happy with the fact that they're not completely dupes. These colors, they're so cool. I like the way she does her little marbling shade, like that one right there, that is called Strong AF. And then that Maverick shade right underneath it, so pretty. I already know I'm gonna use Stand Up so much. This one has a lot of pretty colors. Like I don't even want to swatch it. Like that's how pretty I feel that this palette looks. Like this one's pretty, but it's not completely different. But again, it was 50% off. That one is calling my name, like to swatch it, but look at that shade. This is Rebel. It's not entirely a silver. It definitely has some purple in there. Oh, it's so cool. Maverick. Let me see. This is almost like a champagne. Ooh, haphazard. This one is so pretty. Huda Beauty's eyeshadow formula is so nice. Now, I only have one other eyeshadow palette from Huda Beauty, and I really do like all of her glitters and her shimmers in there. They're so beautiful, and these are no different. These are definitely better than Natasha Denona, but supposedly the Icy Nude was the very last time she was going to be doing a midi size eyeshadow palettes. Haphazard, Maverick, and Rebel. So those are the 3 colors right there. And then the swatch: Haphazard, Maverick, and Rebel. I did bring my I Need a Nude palette because it kind of looks similar to this one, even though this is the darker version, in my opinion, in ways, of the Icy Nude. Obviously not an exact match because that one is a little bit more grayish. The black is the Huda Beauty and this is the Natasha Denona. If you look at that, like even this color right here and this color right here kind of looks like it would be sort of similar, especially because the colors in both of these are more in the cool neutral sort of color story. That is why I feel like they would be crossover. But the I Need a Nude palette, almost every single shimmer in here is so light. Like this color filigree, you would think that it would be a deep rich sort of brown, but like filigree is right here. But when you swatch this one, it's no. Also travertine, it is such a sheer color. That is how they pull up. It is such a beautiful palette. Like that, I will give it to it, but it's definitely a day palette because a lot of these colors, they don't really show up the way that I want them to. I know you can't see it, but I promise you it is there. This is travertine and filigree. One of them looks like it could be a bronzer on me, and the other one looks like it can also be a bronzer on me. Like they blend in so nicely into my skin tone. But that is the beauty of it, right? Like it blends in seamlessly and it gives you a nude look. So I mean, she nailed it from that perspective, but from someone who wants color to show up, I like the palette. I do have to build up the color from that particular one. So even though I showed you a lot of different things, that is pretty much all that I got. So let me know if you have any questions. If you did shop any of the sales, what did you pick up? And let me know if you also feel like makeup wise, these particular sales that happened in November were much better than any other sale that happens any other time during the year. Now Sephora is also doing their 20% off one-time use discount code. Let me know if you're going to be shopping that. I want to thank you so very much for spending a little bit of your day with me, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.